Hello everyone, my name is Marcus and today I'm going to show you how to create a details panel customization in Unreal Engine 4 for your actor class or basically any class you can imagine. Now what this will do is, so this is what we're going to do. We're creating this button here, and if you click it, there's this text showing up, which is basically a U property which is being changed to this. So yeah, this is essentially what's going to happen. What we're going to do. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. We're creating a new project and just make an empty blueprint project. Let's just call it, I don't know, details example. Okay, so create a project. And yeah, so I already have this open, but I just move this over there. And right, so we're going to first and foremost create a new C++ class, and this will be the actor that we're going to change. So yeah, just create a new actor, and we'll call this details actor, because it obviously is going to have some details. All right. Now this will compile code and then start up Visual Studio. There are some things we're going to need to change before we go with editing the actor, because the project will have some dependencies we're going to add in order for this to work. So let's just before we go into anything, just go into your project name .build.cs, and we're using Slate, and we won't be using any of these, so let's just delete them. But we want to do add things, but only if we're compiling with editor. So we have target.b build editor, then we want to go add these dependencies. So we need to add private dependency module names, add range, array of strings. Let's just go with detail customizations. We need that module. We also need the property editor module. And we need the editor style module. Now, something is happening here. Okay, so we're also going to need the public dependency module names. While we only need one, we can still use add range. So if we later on need to add anything, we can just add it here. There's no difference in between using add or add range. So the only difference is that you can add multiple ones here and not here. So if you just hit compile and you've done everything correctly, see, I've did not. So public dependency is what I wrote. Yeah, see, it dependency. All right. So how could I get it wrong? It will show you compiler errors already. So no worries. once it compiles here, you've done everything correct. And it's basically that easy. So now this will go through, but it should be fine. Now we're going into our actor. We don't need any of these functions. At least I don't need. If you have anything you want to do in these, obviously feel free to do as you want. We're going to add a public U property, and we're just going to do edit anywhere and category equals. Well, we could do a lot of stuff, so let's just go with test category. We'll add a string and we'll just call this cool string value. That's all we need in here. So what we're going to do is we need to add a. Oh no, let's do another thing first. So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to create our module, game module. So by default, you'll basically get this default game module, but we need a custom game module, primary game module, simply because we need to register these details, these customization changes, and we want to do this once the module starts up. So you can include module manager.h, and it's basically class f details example module. You can give it a custom name, but I don't see it's a I module interface. I don't see the need to give it some fancy name. Just call it what it is. Now add some public functions. Okay, virtual void startup module override, virtual void shutdown module override, and virtual bool is game module const override. I'll just do this right in here, return true. Now, yeah, that's basically it. And if you hit save and just wait 1 or 2 seconds until it's done, it should give you basically should it? No, it does not want to give us this, but just create it in here. So here, what we want to do here is we want to specify that we want to do our own module for the game. So yeah, so now void f so void and then startup module, and obviously do the same with shutdown module. Now for simplicity's sake, we don't need shutdown module. We don't need it really, but it's great to have it there in case sometime you need it. So we'll just log details example module shutdown and go to the end and then just copy this line, paste it in here and start it. So we just know that it did. If we hit compile, hope it already works. It might need a restart. So we might need to restart the engine in order for it to pick this up, this change. But we will see after we compile, because usually it should shut down the module and then restart it. As you can see, it did not, no, at least not right now, maybe. If we just, no. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kill the engine and just start it up again. And then we should see an output log that it started up. Just wait, it recompiles. cleans up old binary files. This might take a minute or two. All right. All right, so it is starting up, and here it is. It started. So the changes now are already here. And let's just do a blueprints folder and create our, or are we, yes, okay, so, and create our details actor blueprint. And we should get our cool string value right here. This is the string that we created. Okay, so we need to create a new C++ class and just leave it as none because you can't generate a class apparently. And so what we're going to do is we'll just call this details actor detail customization. Okay, I'm not too dumb to spell it correctly, but just create class. And oh yeah, what we also will do after this, after it compiled successfully, we're just going to refresh our Visual Studio solution. So here, refresh Visual Studio project, updating code project. Take another second or two. But this just ensures that Visual Studio is fully aware of all our dependencies. Can stop debugging, it's no problem. And we don't get any like false positives from IntelliSense or anything, but again, it's not necessary, but I believe it's better if you do so. Gives you more overview of things. So delete the functions that aren't here because we don't need these. Okay, you also don't need core minimal. And also you don't need this function to be exported because there's not really any sense in exporting it. If with editor and if so that's why we deleted the details example underscore API, which is defines DLL export or DLL import. And we're going to include things, but only, okay, so let's not jump things here. This is a compiler directive. It tells you that only if you're building the engine in editor mode, right? Development editor is the default mode in Visual Studio. Only then this stuff is being added. And the end of, we just put it there because this is stuff that it doesn't run in game because the binaries for these modules, they are not meant to be run in game. The engine won't compile it, and B, you're not allowed to ship your game with these editor binaries. Epic's terms of use prohibit you from doing so, and we simply don't need it, so why bother? Include, and we need to include detail customizations, public, and detail customizations.h. So you can see this is not a runtime binary because it is in the editor folder. And if anything that is in the editor folder is not meant to be run with your game, shipped with your game in runtime. And do the same thing here. Editor, property editor, public, and include detail customization.h, which is also the class we're going to derive. But first we're calling this f details actor detail customization. and we derive it from iDetail customization. Okay. Now we only need two functions in here, and then this header file is already ready. So static shared reference from, and it will be EI detail customization. And we call the function make instance, and everything is good. Yeah, we need this function to later on create an instance of this very class for the details panels, and we need it later on. Okay, so it's just created already now, and now we're going to create a virtual void. It's a function that we're going to override from iDetail customization, and it's called customize details. And as a parameter, it has a reference of iDetail layout builder, and just call it detail builder. And again, it's overridden. Now we're going to create these real quick. And okay, so we're going to return make shareable, and then new f details actor detail customization. This is essentially our class. We're going to return that one as a shared reference. Okay, so now the customize details function. This is essentially the function which creates the button and the text and everything. I'll just again only compile this if we're doing it with editor. Now what we also want to do is, because we're going to have a lot of f text, and you're not allowed to do f text just by f text and then have something here. This is not allowed, so we're going to need these with log text or ns log text. Because I'm tired of, or I get tired if I have to provide the same namespace every time. We're just going to do log text and going to find the log text namespace and just name it details actor custom details. I don't know. Not a great name, but again, it's just a tutorial. You can name it whatever you want. And you need to undefine it. Now we're going to have some includes here, which we're also putting in the with editor block, mainly because these are also some runtime includes, but again, we don't need it in our game, so why bother including it even in the game? Editor and property editor, public, and now detail layout builder. Again, so because we include from the property editor module and all of these stuffs, we have to have these as our dependencies here. So that is the reason why we need to add these here. This may also be helpful if you have C++ code and it tells you that you have unresolved objects or externals. You maybe need to add dependencies that you don't have already added for your into your build.cs. Now we also need to include from editor property editor public, so let's just copy this. We need the detail category builder, and we're going also to include the detail widget row.h. Now we want to add two widgets, so we're going to include these widgets too. These are runtime. Oh. Slate. It's public widgets, and one of them is going to be a text box, so s text block, and also include runtime slate public widgets, and the other one was the button, So it's button is under input and then s button.h. Yeah. So let's just start up. Oh, we're also going to need our details actor.h. Okay. So now we are ready to basically create everything in here. So there's not much we need to do outside of here now. First of all, what we need is because we want to edit a category, and so let's just start this up again. Oh, I hope we didn't do any bad, but it should compile just fine. Yes. So yes, because we want to create not essentially create, but we want to oh, so we didn't save it. But because we want to edit a category essentially, we want to add this category. We need the category layout, category builder. Also the reason why we included it in here. And how do we get it? It's easy. We have the detail builder. And the detail builder can pretty safe to say it's the class that creates these details panels. So it also has the category builder. It holds a reference to there. So let's just detail category builder reference, and I just call it category. I just call it category because it represents our category, and it will be detail builder dot edit category, and our category. Now, okay, so if you put a name in here of a category that doesn't already exist, then essentially it creates a new one. However, you can also just use one from that is already existing, and in this, it is basically this is the name of your category. So we'll just put it in here. And what we also can do is can push this up to top. So we have 3 parameters here. One of them is the name of the category. The other one is a localized display. Do you want to change the name of this? No, we don't want to change this, so we just want to do a empty text here. It doesn't change it if it's empty. And yeah, here you have category type. Priority, I mean, and you can say it's important. So important pushes it up, obviously. It just, what's important is on the top. Okay. Yeah. So this is our category. Now one thing which we need to do in order to access the object that we're customizing is well, we need to, first of all, we will customize a details actor. So let's just create a pointer to this and call it details actor. Now we need to create an array of, oh yeah, and let's make sure it's null pointer. All right. We need an array of weak object pointers to uObjects. And it will be basically customized objects. It's a good name, I believe. And we're going to set this from detail builder. Get objects being customized. You know, this returns So what this does is this function will set this array to all the objects that you're going to edit. So it essentially is this one here, right? Or if you drag it here and you click here, then if you hit a button, it needs to know what object is being edited. So yeah, and you can only get it with the array. So now we're going to loop through it, and it's a so we're going to do a range-based loop because why not? Weak object pointer, yo object, and then object customized objects. And so in here we'll just oh yeah. So in here we'll just check if detail if object is valid, and if it is, we're just going to check. We're going to cast it and assign it. So it will be details actor equals cast a details actor and object, and if details actor, now essentially what it says is equals null pointer, right? So if details actor, this will already check if it is null pointer, and because we set it to null pointer, if it is not, then so so if it is not, no, if it is, we want to break. Getting confused. And we want to check so that it doesn't do anything. we essentially, if this is wrong, it will assert and crash the engine. So you need to have a valid details actor that you can customize. There needs to be something inherently wrong if this does not return an object, because essentially this function is only being called if you added any details actor. Oh, now if okay, great. Now I need to edit the video. Okay. Now it's time to create our widgets, and we do this with our category, and now add custom row, because so what is a row, right? What is a row? So we have, okay, it's pretty easy. First of all, if you're unsure what widget or you know how Epic did anything in the engine with widgets, you can just use the widget reflector and make sure. Okay, I can pick hit testable widgets or painted widgets, and you can see anything that you'll select will pop up. We'll have these green bars, and if you hit escape on something, then the certain widget is being shown. So what is this? This is an S detail single item row, and so essentially what is, so we can also go make it smaller again, and so you can then click here and select anything. So this is the details tree, right? So we have a detailed panel, and every single item here is a row. So this is a row, this is a row, this is a row, and we're going to add our own row. So add custom row, and if you need to provide a filter string, you know, it's funny because it's a string, but it's a text. So we just call this a row search name. And what is this? it says it here. Oh no, it says it here. Come on, say it. A string which is to be used to filter custom row when you type into the search box. So essentially, if you search for location, right, it will only show you this row. So it's what to search for in order to show this row. And we'll just call it magic. So I can show it to you later. Okay. So, and now we can go with name content. So what is name content? Not a good question, right? Pretty easy. These rows exist of two things. So they have the splitter, or at least this widget is called a splitter. You know, you can. However, left of the splitter is always the name content. You know, location is the name of this property, or actor hidden in game. You know, is another name of this property. And to the right, there's always value content. So you have name content and you have value content, right? And we want to edit the name content. Now we don't have, you can in theory now go ahead and say, oh, this one needs to have at least like a min desired width, right? And then you can set it. However, we don't want to do this. And so, okay, so this is more like, I like to call it slate syntax, right? It is kind of like jQuery, you know? When in jQuery you do some function and it will always return this like jQuery object. So you can call another function on the object. You could, and it is essentially the same here. So now you could change horizontal alignment, you know, and you can say, oh yeah, align it to the right. Okay. And then you do, you can do vertical align, you know, you're still editing this name content object, you know, which is, yeah, so it is the same thing and it always returns the same thing and you just edit the same thing over and over again. Okay. So you need to do these. And now we're going to add a new text block. New as text block. S new S. So S. So you have A for actors, you have U for U objects, you have S for slate, you have T for templates, and you have F, which is basically for everything else in the engine. And so yeah, so S is slate, so S new and S text block, these are all slate stuff. This is all slate code, so it has the slate prefix or, you know, prefix character. And we want to set its text, so which is where we do dot text. And again, this is log text. And you need a key, and we'll just call it detail name. Again, we're still in our namespace that we've defined, so you can be more general in these. And let's and this is the text that is being shown, so the in-text literal. So essentially, if you don't have any localization applied to this, it is always shown this, and because obviously we just created it, there's no localization applying to it. Okay, so okay, cool button, and then we're just going to make an arrow to the right, and you want to make sure that we're using the right font, which is why we have iDetail layout builder, because just get the detail font. Okay, so, and that's it, and this essentially lets us show, so this code basically creates something like this, just with the text, cool button, and then an arrow to the right. Okay. So now let's go to what I've already explained is the value content, you know, and it works pretty much the same way. Also here you can do h-align. So again, and I just do these again. And here we want to create a new S button, right? Now our button still is going to have text. So let's just call it. So you you need the log text and button text, and I am a cool button. Now you can also add a tooltip text if you want to, but before we do this, we want to make sure our text is aligned. So we do .h aligned, so we're horizontally aligned to line center. And now we're just going to create a little tooltip text. This is another function which you need to do log text on. And here it's button tooltip, and the literal, let's just make he really is a cool guy. And let's just create a new line. Isn't he? Okay. And okay, let's just go with that for now. And once you do it, mess everything up. Okay, so we don't need a lot more here. Now we have not yet defined any behavior when we click on a button. We're going to do this in a minute. But let's just first show that this works. So what we're going to do is, this is why we need this, because now we need to register them. Okay, so let's just, we need some more includes. And we're again going to only add them if they're compiling with editor and if. And so what we're going to include is editor, property editor, and public and property editor module. Also include the details actor customization.h. So, and we're going to put the includes before we implement the primary game module. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to load and return a module. So it's property editor module reference property module. Again, it's just a variable name, and now tell the module manager to load module. If we do load module check, here loads a specific module, checking to ensure it exists. And what we want to load for module. So this is not a type of the module basically. So again, it's f property editor module, and the name of the module provided is property editor. So we don't need that one. Why do we need this? Okay. And now that we have our module here, we need to tell it to register our customization. So property module. Now register custom class layout, because this is essentially what we just did, a custom class layout. Now here you need to provide a class name, and in theory the class that we want to apply this to is a details actor, but you remove the a, so it's just details actor. And now here detail layout delegate. So what we're going to do is f on get detail customization instance, create static, and here we need to pass in our make instance function. So it's and then f details actor detail customization make instance. So yeah, if you now hit where's the editor here, compile, and just wait for it Now if you have this open, you won't see the difference right now. Let's just wait until it compiles. Did compile, and now if you just click somewhere else and let it rebuild, see, we created our cool button. Now we also have the tooltip, and you see the text. It is essentially centered, right? So now we can also tell our button just to width. I believe it was, or was it here? Auto width. You could do. Oh, let's just do. Just make it fill. Maybe fill is a good thing. Maybe fill is what we want. So we can essentially also make it as wide as we want. Just not sure what the property for that is called. Now again, yeah, okay, so now it is. So yeah, it also appears here. Whoops. Yeah, but you don't really want to see this is annoying as hell. So let's just remove that one again. And okay, so again, now it's time to create. Oh, before we do this, just make sure, because we didn't really make sure that this code is also only with editor. Again, just make sure that you don't try to load modules and things within your game, because that's not gonna work. It's either not gonna compile it, or it's just gonna crash at that point. And when it crashes on your module startup, well, obviously this won't work well. Okay, so this is back to normal. Okay, I've just did it again. We need to go in our details actor, and we need to add a little function, and we're going to do this again only with editor. We don't need this necessarily with editor, but again, not needed in the game. Why bother putting it there? And we basically want to fReply as a return value, and on button clicked, just call this a function. Now fReply is not going to be here, or is it? No, it is already. Okay. So, and you need to return reply handled. No, we don't have it here. No, we don't have it here either. So we're just going to include it again, just for the sake of it, of me saying it every minute or two. Going to include it with editor, which is the runtime, slate core, public, input, and reply.h. And you're good to go. Class fReply. Okay, so let's just make it. I believe forward declaration should also be enough for here, right? As fReply, and then we can basically put details actor.cpp could put this here, I believe, and it should be fine. So in here we want to change our string that we've created, which we called cool string value. And let's just make it make it I am a cool text. I don't know. I guess randomizing it, making some random integers or something. I don't know. let's just keep it at there and go back here. Now we have our details actor, still something we haven't used yet. Now we're going to use it right now. And what we're going to do is onClicked, and we're making onClicked U object, and we're calling a function from another U object basically, and it will be details actor, and we'll just call it we'll just call the function we just created, so this will be a details actor and then on button clicked, right? And this is it. Now if we hit compile again, it should all work out. Just wait for it to recompile. Alright, so it recompiled, and now if I hit the button, the text will show up. And it should be the same thing here. I'm a cool text. Compile, save, and now it is default value. At least here. And if you change it here, or if you change it back, so again, it works. Works pretty well. You can add another one here, and if you just delete it here and also delete it here, see, it's like now you can have two of them. So this is a problem. In theory, it is a problem because you applied this text, but did you apply it to all of them? No, you did only apply it to one of them. So this is essentially why this for loop exists. Now we could easily, okay, let's just fix it on the fly right now, okay? So what we're going to do is we're removing this one. We're removing this one. We remove this one. And I'm just, okay, so, okay. Okay, so how are we going to do it? We could do a lambda function. Let's just go with a lambda. And so a lambda function is basically what in JavaScript is called an anonymous function. And you need to we need to capture customized objects. Oops. Customized objects. Okay, and here we need to return fReply handled. And what we're essentially going to do is now do our for loop in here. Okay, so for, and let's just go with auto object, customized objects. I hate it. Stop doing that. Okay. Where are we now, huh? If object.is valid and object.is a is a, and that is a details actor static class, or is it is child of? I'm a bit, yeah, I don't know. I believe is a should be enough, or it doesn't give me any description. Okay, so let's just go with cast a details actor object on button clicked. I guess this should work. Compile. Again, I haven't done this before, but this is, you know, what happens. So, hasn't thrown any errors at me. Okay, so again, let's delete the text right here. And now let's do it here. Okay. And now both should have the text. Yes. Okay, so you can do it like this. I'm not sure if there are better methods. Probably there are. It is just what I believe. It works, okay? It works. It did not crash right here. Like, and the single one should still work. So yeah, again, this is just for editing multiple editing this thing on multiple occasions. Okay, so I'm a cool button. Yes, I am. Oh, what? I'm a cool text. Okay, yeah. Again. So yeah, it kind of works. And yeah, I believe that's it. Now I haven't touched on property customizations because you can also customize whole properties. Okay, so what is a whole property? Like a transform, this is a property customization a transform has, which creates all of these things here. And also it's hard to, yeah, like this is a class customization because it only applies to this class. But let's say you have your custom struct and you wanted to have a custom widget in here. And then you can essentially, I can show you an example. So, for example, let's create a widget blueprint. And if we want to, okay, so no, that's not exactly the best way to describe it. Okay, so if we put like text in our button, oops. Okay, so this is essentially the enumeration, right? This is a property customization. So because this is an enum, and the enum is HAline, I believe. I don't know if we can also add it here just for the testing's sake. E horizontal alignment. I don't know if it. Okay, so it doesn't give us the customization right here, but in theory, a property customization should be doing that. So this may not be one. I don't know if it only applies to that specific class. Maybe it does. Now we're already past 50 minutes. I guess it wasn't fast enough. I hope the sound works this time. It's the second time I'm recording this, and the first time the sound was cutting off. I hope it doesn't do that here. And yeah, I hope you have fun, create cool things with it. Maybe stuff that makes life easier for you. I don't know. See you in the next video.